Welcome to the Dementialand Serial Podcast, a story for everyone who knows someone living in or near Dementialand. My name is Zuzka, and this is my story. Episode 28, Love at the Matinee. There was a framed photo face on the table. It was a photo of my grandmother in her young teens with her 10 brothers and sisters. My mother always loved this photo. My little sister, fondly referred to as Little Vi, my mother's namesake, had it framed and gave it to her for Christmas years ago. My mother walked by and picked up that framed photo. She looked at it carefully. I was standing close but said nothing. It was obvious that my mother didn't have a clue who was in that photo. She brought the framed picture closer into her vision. Her smile was ready to stretch its grin, but she waited. Her brow frowned. Her face slowly began to change its behavior. Panic. As if she had fallen down a huge rabbit hole into a deep well. Oh, thanks, Mom. I was looking for that. It's an old picture. I always hated this photo. A bad hair day for sure. I must have been in a horrible mood. I look like shit.
Well, I don't think you look that bad. I think you look quite attractive. Which one is you?
Thank you. I'm taking that as a compliment. But I'm not that one. I'm the one sitting down here in front.
Oh, you mean down here? You look like, well, you look familiar. Like maybe one of my children. Oh, wait, on second thought, you don't look like her at all. She's much shorter. Well, whoever that is, she don't look so good. Put it away.
Okay, I'll put it over there on my pile of things that I still have to take care of.
You should keep all your things together. I hate it when you scatter all your, all those things you got. They're all over the place. Didn't your mother teach you anything?
She tried.
Well, I'm sure she did her best. You should have listened. Just clean up your things.
I am not sure to this day if my mother was joking with me or whether she actually knew that I was her daughter. It was Violet's secret that would never be in question. Violet walked out of the bathroom and walked to the couch. She pulled out a small album that was tucked in the side cushions. It was an album I created months ago. It contained photos, simple images, and not more than 3 people in one picture. The entire album only had 8 photos. I tried to keep it simple. I didn't want to add any stress. In addition to the family photos, there were pictures cut out of magazines of people my mother did not know or will ever meet. Paper people, I called them, with perfect teeth and no blemishes, posing in ads for items my mother would never purchase. Violet added these pictures to her album for her own reasoning. So what's that? It looks like an album.
Oh, they're just pictures. Oh, and they're mine. I tucked this book right behind the cushion. See, right here. I do that so no one will steal any of the photos inside when I go in the bathroom. It also stops anyone from moving the pictures around to confuse me. People do that just to make you crazy. You gotta be careful. So if you're inclined in opening this album book on your own, just forget it.
I won't. Can I see?
Well, sit here next to me, but don't touch anything. First, there's this one. That's my husband.
Oh, he's quite handsome.
Very. I think this is me standing next to him.
It could be.
What do you mean? That's me. I was a looker in those days.
I gotta tell you, I love the dress.
I do too. I made that dress.
My mother then slowly turned the page. And who's this?
Oh, that's Calvin.
Calvin? Like in Calvin Klein?
I remember that day like it was yesterday. Calvin picked me up and took me on a picnic at the Brookfield Zoo. Oh, it was a perfect day. He brought a basket with finger sandwiches, heart cookies, and some crystal ginger drink that made its own bubbles. We dined right in front of the water buffalo fountain. It was beautiful. That's when I met Cookie and Ziggy. If Ziggy weren't dead, he would tell you that Calvin was so smitten with me. Did you know Ziggy could dance, play the harmonica, and smoke cigarettes? That was the first time and the last time I ever saw an elephant smoke a cigarette. Cookie could tell you. He's a cockadoo, a major who spoke very good English. After the zoo, we drove around a bit in the car. Everyone saw us and waved as we drove by. I had no idea where we were going next, and then he stopped his car in front of the lighted marquee that hung over the Cicero's picture show on Cermak. Hand in hand, we went right in front of the line where Calvin bought 2 tickets. It was an afternoon matinee. That's where I got those glasses. During the intermission, there was a drawing. They always did that in those days. They'd give away very nice prizes. Margie won a crystal vase once. The chiseled glass sparkled like a chandelier. After the first movie ends and all the credits are done revealing themselves, a man wearing a red satin jacket and a black top hat walked on stage. He was waving his hands in the air to get our attention. Following him was his assistant. Oh, she was a pretty lady in velvet, carrying a large fishbowl filled with paper tickets. They matched the tickets we got when we walked in the theater. Oh, everyone stood up and applauded and whistled. Some even screamed. And those were the ones that couldn't hold back their excitement. Oh, it was very exhilarating. Then the velvet lady slowly put her hand into the fishbowl. The entire room got quiet. It was very tense in that room. She slowly pulled out a folded paper ticket and handed it to the man in the satin jacket. Well, when that man on stage read out Calvin's number, I could barely contain myself. Calvin kissed me smack on my lips and then ran down the aisle and jumped on top of the stage to collect his prize. When he came back to his seat, he gave me his prize as a gift. 6 plastic carved glasses with painted daisies on each side. Oh, some things you just don't forget. We saw 2 shows that day. It was a double feature. There was The Bird of Paradise with Burt Lancaster and Myrna Loy, and I can't remember for sure. Maybe it was a Lucille Ball and Ricky Ricardo movie. I don't know, but I've seen you drink out of those glasses a million times.
There was no way I was going to question the memory of the event or when she was romanced by Calvin Klein. Ah, the joy of scrambled, unclaimed memories looking for a place to rest. My mother was always generous that way. She took in all wandering stories and gave them a home. I got to know my mother through her stories, and listening to her closely, I began to realize that my mother's stories gave her substance, a dimension that was real and honest. Perhaps it was her truest self, and not necessarily the dementias, that had bent and often blurred the line between reality and fantasy. There is some truth here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe, like, and forward this podcast to a friend. The book, Wonders in Dementialand, is available on Amazon. Check it out and leave a comment. Stay safe, and thank you for listening. My name is Suska.